Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with a final video tonight. I told you I'd do a video about my Christmas memories. Now, from 1981 to 1990 plus, 95, yeah, 1981 to 1995, we had different ways of doing things for Christmas. Now, my mom used to drag us to the mall, or we'd flip through the old Sears or J.C. Penney catalogs until they decided to bring out video game catalogs or Christmas catalogs, and we would order a model train catalogs like Lionel, MTH, etc. Now remember, I'm old. Angela will probably get a kick out of this. Same with some of you like V-Twin and Jet Black. But back in the old days, phones were on a battery. Little antenna right here. We'd pick it up and we'd be like, yo, we want a pizza. Or we plug this in and use hands-free while driving down the road. Yeah, these are the first car phone bags, or transportables they called it, before they started making phones smaller and smaller. And I'll get to that later in other Christmas videos. But the phone has a lot of memories, okay? My first car phone, cell phone was this. But no, I wasn't privileged. It was very expensive and I never used it much. Except for ordering pizza, on the bus, going home, in junior high. Where I got the security binky. So, we'll get to that memory again later. But, Christmas time. Christmas memories number one. So, back then, Mom would drive us to the mall. From 1981, when I was 3 years old, to 1995. So, let's see. 18 there, since 16 to 18. We would go to the mall before the internet took off. Now, the internet was a newfangled device, but we didn't know much about it. I got into it when my sister started saying, oh yeah, you hook it up to the phone line through the baud modem and, you know, the old dial-up, and it's like, well, anyways, being an interesting part of life, Christmas was interesting. I mean, we had catalogs, and we'd go to the mall. The malls back then, in the old days, they used to have knife shops. They used to have tobacco shops, cigarette shops, tobacco pipes, good smelling tobaccos in the malls. In the late 80s, they got rid of it. It was like, oh, you know, smoking is bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyways, you used to go in there, you know. Back in the old days, the mall had, you know, our mall had water fountains in the mall, huge fountains. There was one fountain one way, one fountain another way. Eventually, they renovated the mall and changed the fountains around. But I remember Christmas time from 1981 to 1985. It's just purely, you know, choose this, choose that. But when the NES came out, I wasn't an Atari fan. We had the Pong, we had the 2600, and you know, the Coleco, the Intellivision, and I wasn't impressed with them. NES came out, it was the system for me. Now, mind you, I didn't really like Super Mario Brothers, but you know, what the heck. You know, I played it and played it and played it, and finally I mastered it, but it was something to pass the time. It wasn't a game that I was like, ow, this stinks, you know. So 1985 to 87, other Nintendo games came out that were more interesting than what I was playing. But in 87, when Zelda came out and several role-playing games, I was kind of a lot more happier. I think Final Fantasy came out in 1990, but don't quote me. Dragon Quest didn't really impress me, but we won't go there. But the old days, when you went to the World of Nintendo in the mall, they had a little touch screen like a tablet, and you touch it and it goes, Nintendo Zelda, and they did a trailer for it, you know, and then it was done, you know. And 1985 to 1987 was great. My mom, you know, everything was great Christmas-wise. There was no trouble. My grandmother was alive. My grandfather sort of passed on, but Grandmama knew how to take care of me, and Christmas was great, you know. I mean, when the internet came around, things got better and better technology-wise, where you could sit there on your tablet and be like, oh, I want to order this. Whereas back in the day, you'd have to pull out a catalog like the phone book here, pull it out and be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to order this. Pick the phone up, let's just say this one, for example. You pick it up to Sears, or heck, we had a catalog always with us. We'd be cruising the car. I'd be like, yeah. And my mom would stop the car, pull on the side of the road, give her their info for ordering, you know, on the credit card. We'd keep on going. Heck, we kept a game. When game catalog started taking over, meaning like software, etc., Babbage's, Funko Land, which Babbage's, software, etc., Funko Land, they all were merged with electronic boutiques. And that is why you don't see many. But the point is back then, you got catalogs. I mean, you still have catalogs now where they mail it to you, but more and more catalogs are being phased out for the holiday season, for Christmas. You know, it's mostly, you know, unless you get online, which about, they say, about 1/3 or 2/3 of the world's population is online. And mind you, it's good technology, and I have no complaints. I mean, back then, Christmases were different. I mean, when the NES came out, it was great. When Game Boy came out, it was great. Had to get a replacement Game Boy to be under the tree. I remember times when shopping for Christmas gifts, you know, we had one place to go. My mom would be like, we're going to divide up. Well, I stayed with my mom until her boyfriend just dragged me along. He was like, we're going to get this, we're going to get that. And he was trying to always load up his sons and stuff. And he had his own way of doing things, you know, and my mom had her way. But my mom knew what she wanted to do, and she usually stuck to her guns. Boyfriends, you know, they never argued with her. I mean, my mom and I, we'd have, like, model trains, and then be like, oh, this was cool, okay. Or this one's cool, you know. Certain games, you know, Sega Genesis, we weren't allowed Sega. I mean, my mom said, Sega, no. Sega ain't in here in Washington, we're on Nintendo. And Nintendo was really good, you know. I mean, from 81 to 85, before the NES came out for Christmases, 85 was Christmas time, we got, like, Cabbage Patch Kids, little stuffed animals, etc. You know, stuff that, you know, Matchbox cars, etc. And then when the NES came out, my mom had to spend a little more money than she wanted to, but we were allowed a huge video game library. It was like Contras, Double Dragons. I mean, if it was on an arcade and we knew it was popular, I'd be playing it at home instead of going to the arcade. Growing up, my sister, you know, a few times at Christmas time, would go down Christmas Eve to the local arcade downstairs in a pizza shop called Alfie's. I mean, they had water fountains and everything, and my mom would spend time wrapping up gifts. Just literally wrapping them up, putting them under the tree, and then we'd come back, you know. And when the NES came about, that was, you know, pretty good, you know. But we didn't start using the catalogs that much for Sears until after 1987. Which, by the way, when we were going to the mall in 1987, it was an interesting time because Sears had candies. That's right, they had a little candy store, and I used to get Reese's peanut butter cups and the mini Reese peanut butter cups and the Reese Pieces from them, fresh. You know, they'd have it, you know, my mom would just be like, here you go. And we always went there, you know, and we'd always go upstairs, check out music CDs, other things, you know. It was really good, in my opinion. And you know, most of the mall was good. I mean, I remember Christmas time in 1998. I'm a Wet Seals person when it comes to shops. I mean, I have some nice dresses from Wet Seal still in my closet. Blouses and, you know, I went through the Wet Seal and I got everything I needed, matching shoes, everything. And JCPenney was the other place for the shoes, you know. And I had dresses from JCPenney and Sears and the Bond, which is now Macy's. And But your girl's clothes were later in life. But before then, the last time I went shopping with my mother in a giant mall was 2005, I think it was. No, 2004. 2005, 2006. Right before moving. Anyways, I'll get to that story soon. But before then, from 1995, early 95 to 97, when the internet started out, I was online, but I never browsed. We still had access to those catalogs. We used the catalogs more than anything. From 2000 to 2000 and, from 1999 to 2002, I was in Australia. So it was different, The wife who at the time told me to order everything that I thought was needed for the kids, Tyler and Lexi, my niece and nephew. I went ahead, she paid for it all, credit card, everything, no problem. When I came out there, I stuck to Fiona because, I love Fiona. We went shopping, but Fiona and I, we didn't need everything under the sun. I got a desk for 1 year for my birthday, and it was great. Custom built computer, better than the wife's. I had no trouble. You guys are saying, but the point is when catalogs were great, but the catalogs didn't have everything we needed. I mean, my mom would pick up the old car phone and be like, yeah, we want this special television unit for me, 9-inch TV at the time. No problem, My mom knew I liked music CDs, so she picked up every soundtrack that I liked. Video game music, I didn't know about it, but I had old cassette tapes until the cassette tapes went off, and then she got me CDs. My mom, at Christmas time, the memories were great because before I got up there in age, maybe 13, my mom would go to Toys R Us, and she'd go down the game aisle and be like, oh, Final Fantasy Adventure, Final Fantasy Legend, and then I'd get the Final Fantasy series, which later we found out it was Moshiashi, I think it is, or a Seiken Densetsu is Final Fantasy Legend in Japan. So, stocking stuffers, everything like that was just really good memories, I mean, from 87 to 89 or 90 when Game Boy came out, then it was Game Boy, it was Mega Man, it was Zelda, it was Mario's. Super NES came out. I remember that Christmas the Super NES came out. Oh man, it was great. Games were $80 a piece, but damn, the games were wonderful. My sister's was happy about it, but my mom's boyfriend did not like it. My mom, again, at Christmas time, decided, I needed this accessory, that accessory. Well, World of Nintendo sold her, not the accessories, but multiple systems. So we kept multiple systems in the closet in case mine broke down. Games were great back then. And Christmas was really good. I remember in 1993, one of the memories that was the best. 1993. My mom asked me what I wanted. EB Games sent me 2 copies of their Christmas catalog. And I went through it and I'm like, I want these, right? Christmas tree was overflowing. One year, it was at the same time I tried pulling it off a second time and it actually worked because of all the gifts. But when I lived with my grandmother in 1987, 85 to 87, I've done this twice, 85, 86, and 87, that's right, 3 years. We had multiple stockings. Multiple stockings. Yeah, guess what? 20 stockings along the fireplace. Granny says, Santa's too poor. It was filled. Same time as that time of 93, Neo Geo came out. 3DO was out. Gold Star, Panasonic, TurboGrafx 16, Turbo Express, Turbo CD, the Atari Jaguar, you name it. Anytime this time around 93, there was like 9, I would have swore, with all the accessories and all the crap back then, my mother went out of her way, and it was like $8,000 in Christmas gifts. I mean, it was game systems, games, clothes, more game systems, clothes. Of course, I never got back then tights and dresses, and, well, what the heck, I had to deal with it. But 93 was good. 94, the game started slowing down a bit because I had almost every system out there known to man. You know, Sega Dreamcast, etc. So we started to move to our new place, and might have been 92, but anyways, all those game systems and, well, Genesis, etc. Well, I did get the Genesis finally. The first Sega system, Mom went, wow. But the bottom line is this memory was really good in my heart. And then in 1998, 99, before I came to Australia, 98, Christmas 98, we loaded up Tyler and Lexi, and I mean, it was great. I mean, my Christmas gifts were there. I mean, but that'll be another video. That'll be another video in another day, but you get the idea. Christmas was great. I mean, catalogs, no problem. Internet, no problem. When the internet came out, we were still iffy about the internet. So, you know, I mean, I'm old-fashioned, and right now I'm enjoying old black and white movies like, you know, on here are the John Wayne dollar collection from the dollar store, and the experiences I have will live in my heart forever. So, all I wanted to say to all of you out there is I hope you enjoyed some of my memories from the past, and look for another memories video tomorrow. I will write down some information so I don't forget. But yes, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the long video. But back then, it was catalogs, no internet, or going to the mall. Nowadays, do everything right here in a little box, or thin box, or whatever you call it. So, that is my Christmas memories, part 1. Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. And please add me as a friend if you like. Thank you, and have a nice day. May God bless the world, and may God bless the U.S. of A.